Hey there, Jack and Jill, motorcycle out there in BMW land. I'm coming to you today to dispel a bit of misinformation that's out there about a so-called recall that has been talked about online, though there's very little official information yet from BMW Motorrad. As a matter of fact, the English language outlets that are talking about this got all their information from one German language article that was published about a week ago. It's July 28th or 29th today. It was clear that the people who translated the article don't speak German. Not that I'm fantastic at my German language skills, but I know better than to trust Google Translate with a word-for-word translation. At any rate, what a lot of these outlets started out referring to as a recall is not a recall. A recall is a specific thing that affects safety when it comes to your automobile or motorcycle. And the manufacturer works with, in the United States, the NHTSA or NHTSA, which is the National Highway Transportation Safety Authority. When they issue a recall, it's because there is something wrong with your vehicle that could cause it to fail catastrophically and injure, maim, or kill you. If it's not a recall, it's less than that. So what is actually going on with this news is that BMW has started a service campaign or issued what is commonly referred to as a service bulletin related to condensation collecting inside the swing arms of liquid-cooled BMW R1200 and R1250 GS motorcycles. Now, it only affects the liquid-cooled R1200s and the R1250s built until October 2021. When BMW identified the issue, they changed the manufacturing process starting in October of 2021, and more recent bikes don't have to deal with this service campaign. So what the issue is that sometimes water condensation can collect inside the swing arm, and because there's water down there where the end of the drive shaft is, the end of the U-joint with the splined end that goes to the final drive, you can get a little bit of rust on the splines. Now, of course, they're gonna find the picture that has the most rust. I'll be honest with you, I have not seen any rust, not on mine, and I work on mine all the time. Now, it's important to remember a couple different things. Number one, the boot at either end of the swing arm, there's one up by the transmission and one down by the final drive. Those are not waterproof. They're not stated to be waterproof. They're not claimed to be waterproof. They are press fit plastic boots that are meant to keep out incidental water. The top boot is also secured on one end with a zip tie, at least on some of the models. And once again, it's a zip tie. It's not a hose clamp. It's not meant to be watertight. So if you're one of those people who rides your GS off-road, water crossings, mud, that kind of thing, when you're done riding, take your bike home, wash off the lower boot especially, pull it back from one side or the other to drain out any water that may have been forced in there. Same thing if you are one of those people who uses a high pressure washer to clean your bike, which incidentally, you should not do. You should not ever do that. But if you are, then take a minute, pop the boot, let the water out, put the boot back. That will take care of 95% of these problems, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Now, what BMW is gonna do is probably right here where this casting mark is, makes a good target, an easy place to tell the techs where to do it. Drill a hole and put that little one-way valve in. There, perhaps, maybe down here, maybe over here. At any rate, they'll do it in a way that doesn't interfere with the bottom of the drive shaft. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't still crack that boot and drain out standing water, especially if you do water crossings. That boot is meant to keep out dirt and debris from common everyday riding, including in rainstorms, but it is not, once again, waterproof. Now, this service campaign also affects the same generation Authority RT bikes, so what we commonly refer to as an RTP or RT Police. So that's liquid cooled R1200s and R1250s built until October of 21, R1200 RTs that are liquid cooled, and 1250 RTs that were built before October of 21. And even though they don't say so, the reason I think BMW has included those motorcycles in this service campaign is because those specific authority bikes are typically punished at a higher level than regular riders do to their bikes. So those bikes are ridden harder, they're used in worse conditions generally, and so they could also have that problem. Now, this is not an urgent thing that you need to deal with. When you get the letter from BMW, they'll tell you to call your dealer. Your dealer will check your VIN, make sure that your bike is one of the ones affected by the service bulletin, and then the next time you go in for service, they will do the test, drill the hole, insert the valve. It shouldn't add more than 45 or 50 minutes to the process of whatever your next service is, whether it's tires, oil, whatever. More importantly, you don't have to pay for the work. Now, you still have to pay for your oil change or your tire swap or whatever else it is you're doing, but for the installation of this one-way valve, you don't have to pay for it. Dealers in the United States should be getting information on this and may even have information on this by the time you see this video at the end of July 2022. But if they don't, just be patient. And don't try to schedule your appointment immediately. They're not going to have the parts or the testing equipment yet. BMW outlines a very specific testing process in the service bulletin. From what I understand, I have not seen it yet. I have not gotten my letter yet. My 2015 is one of the bikes covered by this service campaign. So I expect to get the letter when BMW starts sending them out. And of course, if I get any more information, you can find out all about it on bmwownersnews.com. This is not something you need to be freaking out about. It's not something you need to be claiming BMW hates its riders or any of that kind of stuff that I've seen on Facebook and Instagram, and just people making a way bigger deal out of this than it really is. The ultimate authority is BMW themselves. And until they make the service campaign public, everything else is speculation. The important thing to remember is to call your dealer, cut them a little slack in case they don't have all the information yet, and don't get crazy about this. Take it easy. Hope you enjoy your ride.